Happy Easter. Christ is risen. That's what it's all about. People who have faith in God need to run this country, America, that is. And if you look on the screen, the people who worship Satan are running the Stanford Superior Court. This is the latest lawsuit against Richard Blumenthal. He is defendant number 2. We serve the Judicial Media Commission, which is running Hearst Media and the state in Connecticut. Judge Blowy is running the Media Commission with News 12 and all these places that control the court. And here we have the Bar Association, which is a criminal enterprise. Judge Meyer, who passed away, is a defendant in the case. But if you go down, here's a dirty DA. We don't have Tamaccio in here. Tamaccio shouldn't be in the Bridgeport court prosecuting Sam Magliari or anyone, because he's not even enlisted as an employee of the Stanford State's attorney. So these are all criminals, folks. There are 650 in the case. Only 18 are showing. Now there is 19 showing. So they added the public defender. The public defender extorted U.S. State Senator Bradley into destroying exculpatory evidence of a beating that it took place inside the Bridgeport criminal court. And there, what I want to highlight today is the Criminal Practice Commission, right here. Sean Rutchick, who's Assistant Attorney General, just filed a motion for dismissal. And if you look on the document reader, I want to explain what the Criminal Practice Commission is, okay? The Criminal Practice Commission is a comprehensive institutional history of habeas corpus reform and the Criminal Practice Commission, okay? Institutional genesis of strategic imperatives. The formation of habeas reform within the Criminal Practice Commission is not an isolated administrative event. It was a culmination of systemic, multi-year strategic reevaluations of the judicial branch to understand the mandate given to the Gary White and attorney Elizabeth Reed. Now, she is the court judge in Bridgeport that framed Sam Magliari and myself, and the Honorable Gary White runs the Judicial Branch Commission that's named here on the display capture 4. So if you look to the right here, I was speaking about this court screen, which is FST CV 265033754, and Defendant 18, Criminal Practice Commission. So I thought that was showing, maybe it wasn't. So anyway, as you look here with my finger, it says Elizabeth Reed is involved with judicial governance. Now, she used Defendant 19, which is right there. She made Dennis Bradley my public defender, which he's never worked for the public defender. This is fraud, folks, straight up. Dennis destroyed the exculpatory evidence of the beating I took in the Bridgeport court on camera when I was falsely arrested. So here we go. In 2007, the Connecticut Judicial Branch initiated an unprecedented strategic planning process with the Public Service and Trust Commission, right here. Defendant 17. Okay? It's hard to get through this, I understand. Please bear with me. It's very complicated. The initiative was driven by a recognition that the public confidence in the judiciary is inextricably linked to the efficiency, transparency, and accessibility of the court process. Now, what I'm saying is that Judges White and Reed run the Public Service Trust Commission and the Criminal Practice Commission. So, these participants ranged from judges, court clerks, bar association members, to victim advocates and the general public. What I'm saying is that it is a criminal enterprise to frame people for competency review that plead not guilty. Ready? Everyone in Connecticut that pleads not guilty has to go through competency review, which is rigged by Dumas. They go to political candidates like myself and say, you never ran for U.S. Senate. You never got any votes. So here we go. We uncovered election fraud because I voted for myself and lots of people voted for me. Andrew Pritchard voted for me. Heather Lindsay voted for me. Sam Magliore voted for me, and Sam made a campaign contribution to my campaign. Well, Sam is very helpful. Sam is being held in Whiting right now. He's been held over 600 days waiting for a competency review. He has been framed. His niece was murdered with Oxy, and Judge White heard the Oxy case in the Stanford Superior Court. And many children have been OD'd by Dr. Ahuja, who is now claiming that he bought the judges in the Stanford Superior Court. So, when I go back to this paragraph, these participants range from judges that Ahuja claims he bought, clerks, who he bought most definitely Clerk O'Gara, because when you go to this case on the screen, there are 90 exhibits missing. Or there are 90 exhibits missing, yes, and there are 45 to 51 motions missing. So I keep filing motions. I've filed 51 motions. They're not in the screen. You can look right here. Motion, file, list of exhibits. I filed all these lists of exhibits, 33, 93, Epstein. Keep in mind, Epstein's secretary lives in New Canaan. She has 158,000 mentions in the Epstein files. So Judge Nathan covered it up. Judge Nathan is a criminal on the Second Circuit Court. One of their employees is Brian Weinstein, who murdered his wife, who was my Whiting advocate. It's hard to make this stuff up. There's so many disturbing facts. You can look at the continuation of parties, number 72. Okay? Where are the first 70? They are missing. They're supposed to be here. There's only one continuation of parties listed. Here's an exhibit. What number is it? 71. Wow. To Judge Nathan, who cleared Leslie Groff, Epstein's secretary, with the 158,000 emails that Gioeli is covering up. Gioeli is the assistant Stanford State's attorney. You can't make this stuff up. I could continue at great risk. List of exhibits, 83. 84. Okay. These exhibits are from December. When did they show? When did they show? March 16th. So they held them 100 days. Basically 100 days. List of exhibits, 100 days old. List of exhibits, 316. Now we're going back in time as we go back to 312, return of service. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Very clearly, this is listed as an exhibit in the case. Okay, so Mark Kohler with a K is spelt Mark Holer with an H. Where is Mark Kohler, Secretary of State, on this list? It's nowhere. Congressman Himes, spelt wrong, Himes. Where is Congressman Himes? Here. Nowhere. Congressman Himes was served. When? Congressman Himes was served when? On February 15th. Or February 17th. It is now April 5th. So Congressman Himes was served in February and not on the list. The Human Rights Commission, which was shut in Bridgeport, where I filed against 169 towns in Connecticut civil rights violations. Thomas Gorman, State Police. Jessica Wagner, Dumas. Michael Bavona, DA. Judge Bothwick, Stanford Superior Court. Where's Judge Bothwick? Served in February. Connecticut Judicial Branch. Well, let's continue. Judge DeCastro, May Flexer, Southwest Behavioral, Dr. Africana, misdiagnosis of schizophrenia. She's the only one. Force medicated. Stephen Penny, Sikh chair. Judge Reed, very important. Judge Reed, served in February. Not listed. Judge Reed, who is in the Criminal Practice Commission. Actually, getting back to the document, she was an attorney, and now she was appointed as a judge in the criminal court, and she had me tortured and forced with Zyprexa. Judge Reed had me forced with Zyprexa, the diabetic killer. Now, there's a book on it. It's called the Zyprexa Papers. Zyprexa is not allowed for diabetics, period. 17 states allow it, and the rest of the country does not. 17 states were sued and lost $1.4 billion when, in court, Lilly was caught with its pants down that it falsified the data for Zyprexa, and a lot of people died, folks. Yeah. So let's get back to getting tortured by a judge who's not in the screen, who was served in February when it's April 5th. The strategic plan identified the need for a permanent body to oversee the remediation of these issues, governance structure on the judicial branch. Again, let me read this paragraph. The Criminal Practice Commission consulted to serve as operational arm of the PSTC, which is over here, Public Service and Trust Commission. Now, honestly, if they would name it the Public Service Trust Commission, you should be able to trust them, correct? While they are murdering people. They're about to murder Sam Magliari. Yep. And they've been trying to kill Susan Pierce for months. She's resilient. They did kill Anna Taylor, and they did kill Miss Weinstein, who was my advocate at Whiting. And now we just have new evidence that implicating another lady at Dumas, who claims that Sam Magliari is a conspiracy theorist about election fraud, when in fact he voted for me and his vote is nowhere to be found. Now, I have his vote. He took a picture of it and he sent it to me. So I have his actual ballot. I have Andrew Pritchard's ballot. I have lots of people's ballots. So the problem here is that the state created fictitious police reports for Judge White and denied them to me in my defense at my hearing, and denied me the video where the marshal in Bridgeport beat me up, just as the marshal in Stanford just beat up Sam Magliari while he was cuffed. Okay? They stood on me when I was cuffed. Stood on top of my leg, permanent injury, vein damage. One of my ankles is purple, the other one is clear. I can show it to you. And why are you being injured when you're cuffed? This is to improve the criminal justice system through the combined effort of judges, prosecutors, defense attorneys, and court staff. Now, what's the amazing thing? Dr. Ahuja, who was arrested for issuing Oxy in Darien and Stanford, where many kids were overdosed, including Sam Magliari's niece, and Dr. Ahuja basically shot Heather Lindsay's nephew in the back of the head, and Mike Ahuja was caught with $18 million in the trunk of his car, who was tried in federal court, and it was determined that he had bribed policemen from Stanford to Texas. 18 million is quite a bit. He was giving 300 grand each to different cops. So now, once Ahuja was tried in federal court, he was found issuing Oxy again after he lost his license, and Judge White heard the case. Judge White released him on a $10,000 fine, and more kids were murdered. Okay, so if you think you have an Oxy problem, you do, because that doctor gave prescriptions out and required that the patient give him half the loose pills back. Dr. Ahuja raped my friend Chris Kelly. Dr. Ahuja raped my friend Heather Lindsay. And the criminal court allowed the Stanford Superior Court to use the Stanford police to offer bribes. They offered Heather Lindsay $3 million, for example. Okay, so I also got offered a bribe, a bit more. But getting back to this paragraph, Dr. Ahuja has been claiming that he bought judges, prosecutors, defense attorneys, and court staff. Now, seeing that Sam Magliari's attorney claimed that Tamaccio threatened the defense attorney who wanted out. And, for example, Corey Coopersmith, who Marshall Suda stole the evidence for, okay, claimed that Connecticut stole $300 million from him in the bankruptcy court, and the bankruptcy judge is claiming it's the worst case she's ever had to hear. Well, she is currently dismissing the Corey Coopersmith bankruptcy case, having never heard of it, and Attorney Andre Cario claimed that he had to back out because he wouldn't see the bullet coming when he was murdered. So attorneys are claiming that they're going to be murdered if they represent Corey Coopersmith, Sam Magliore, or me. Lawyers are claiming they'll be murdered, and guess who's going to do the murdering? Well, we know they extorted Dennis Bradley. And where's the evidence? I don't have the file. I don't have the file. Sam Magliore just went to court, and he never got the Dumas report prior to the Dumas hearing. I never got the Dumas report prior to the Dumas hearing. And what does the Dumas report say? The Dumas report says that the Sudas, Marshall Suda, is reporting to Judge White, and that Judge White turned around and claimed that I threatened him. I never threatened Judge White. No, I never did. I've never met Judge White. I've never seen Judge White. I've heard the tapes of Judge White, and everyone should be listening to the tapes of Judge White, because Judge White's nephew tells me, I'm friends with Judge White's nephew, tells me that his uncle murdered his cousin. I've been told 30 times. Okay? So now the nurse also told me that she gave free oxy out the back door of Dr. Hoosh's office to cops and to Judge White himself. So, Judge White is running the Criminal Practice Commission as a murderer. Should I end this video here? Because I'd like to go on. Because when you look at the list, Yukon, Kimberly Morris, Kenneth Karras, FISA court judge, William Tong, Attorney General. William Tong got served on February 17th, and Sean Leo Rutchick, who works for William Tong, filed a motion for dismissal. William Tong was served in February, not listed on the case, due to judicial corruption at the Practice Commission, where bribery is the norm. No, I didn't bribe the judge, but the Ahujas did, and they said so. And they threatened Heather at gunpoint. They threatened Chris at gunpoint, and they threatened me at gunpoint. So what happened? I filed 70. Do you see 70 protection orders here anywhere? No. The 70 protection orders are in Exhibit 1. Exhibit 1 First of all, these are not numbered. Exhibit 1 is not here. Exhibit 1 was given to the court 4 times. 4 times. So it may be Exhibit 80. Jesse Beltran. Guess what that is? I have 20 semiconductors implanted in me, one right here, so they can see what I'm seeing. They are watching me, watching you, watching me. I have CISA chips. What's Exhibit 83? The receipt that the state of Connecticut paid CISA $17,365 to screw me. So I have a CISA chip from Jesse Beltran, and guess what? You can't see the evidence. It's not here. I'm not approved for electronic filing. I physically walk these things in. They're not shown. They're not listed. And they're not there. Interesting. Brittany Maisler, criminal. The DA gave Brittany Maisler 2 plea deals because Dennis Bradley refused to offer me a plea deal. Dennis Bradley did not offer me a plea deal. The Whiting Forensic Competency Monitor said I was delusional while she offered me plea deals from Tamaccio in the Stamford Superior Court. Okay? Told to DA Hallstrom under Corradino. Tamaccio is under Paul Forensic, State's Attorney. State's Attorney Richard Colangelo took a bribe in the Barrier murder. I outlined it. It's in the court screen, just like here. Disappearing information. Katrina Lawrence should be in jail. Judge Adams is a kingpin criminal at Kelly Dry and Warren who cashed 1,239 stolen checks of mine. 1,239 stolen checks of mine. Chief Lombardo. Who's that? He assaulted me. Frangemi should be arrested. Judge Seswick should be arrested. Elizabeth Brayshaw arrested. Susan Martin arrested. Judge Gennario, spelt wrong, arrested. Judge Clark, arrested. Judge Blowy, arrested. Chris Joelli, arrested. Stephanie Thomas should be arrested. Scott Bates, for sure, is the biggest kingpin criminal in the state of Connecticut. He ran USAID. He was the Serbian contact with election fraud in Serbia. Fact. They did the programming memory cards for Dominion software, which is Diebold, which is Smartmatic. Criminal enterprise right here, Connecticut. Scott Bates is the biggest criminal in possibly the free world. How many people is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 rows of 5. So here's 55 people served. Okay. Wow. And there's more than one of these. Those people are served too, but haven't appeared. And the court clerk destroyed this record 4 times. This is the 5th time I gave him this. So they destroyed it in February, and they destroyed it in March. And they finally processed it now. And I believe it's backdated. Continuation of parties. There are 74 continuations of parties missing. Here's number 72. Leslie Groff, right here, is a defendant. Served. She is Epstein's secretary that has 158,000 references in the Epstein files. And she's not listed as a defendant here, which is a problem because I gave them the list of parties served more than 5 times. So this is the biggest bunch of criminals in Connecticut. Governed by the Criminal Practice Commission, which is Judge Reed and the Honorable Gary White. Oh my God. So, the Stamford State's Attorney and the Bridgeport State's Attorney need to go to jail too, because they were served Chris Gioeli, Stamford State's Attorney, they were served. They're not listed in the screen here. And that document was destroyed 4 times. They refused to arrest even Joe Suda, who just punched Sam Magliari in the face while handcuffed behind his back in the courtroom. Why would anyone punch anyone in the face while they are handcuffed behind their back when they're 62, have a heart condition, can't see without their glasses, and can't hear without their hearing aids? The guy is disabled. So it's an ADA violation, punching a handcuffed prisoner in the courtroom. And you heard the judge in the video that I played yesterday saying, "We want to appoint counsel for you." And Sam says, "No," because Sam knows Dennis Bradley. They extorted Dennis Bradley and forced him to destroy exculpatory evidence for his own client. Need I say more today? We got a lot to say. But thank you for listening, and if you don't share this, you won't understand how the court is manipulating the court screen. Now, the computer behind this is Tyler Technologies. If you go to my pinned post on Twitter, Tyler Technologies' IP address hacked every town in Connecticut and flipped Trump votes to Biden. Let me be clear. Tyler Technologies, the same company being used to manipulate the court screen, pays every Connecticut employee for the state, issues the checks. Tyler Technologies issues the checks, is owned by BlackRock, and their IP address is this column right here, used as the source IP address for the hacks. So Tyler Technologies involved in election fraud. Tyler Technologies running the court back office and paying the judge's salary and issuing the checks to the judges, owned by BlackRock, which is managing the judge's pension. So every time Judge White screws somebody, BlackRock can pay him through his pension. We would never know. And guess what? Judge White's financial affidavit says he's worth zero. Now, he's been running the Criminal Practice Commission since 2007, and he has a pension worth $2 million, I'm told. But I can't verify because they won't give me the records. So there's no FOIA in Connecticut. The judges are getting paid by BlackRock to support Tyler Technologies, which they own, which issues the checks to every Connecticut employee and is the back office for the court system and is in charge of election fraud. So Sam's not crazy. Watch the video. I'll show you the video. There it is. Oh no. That's wrong. This is a misprint. They didn't pay $417,000. That's a $17,000. They paid $17,000. That's an honest mistake. I have to fix that. Too funny. Hold on. I just want to show you what I'm talking about. False arrest. This is the one. Please watch it. This is an extortion attempt to conceal a murder, in my opinion. Now, multiple Whiting murders. As I said, Elizabeth Harding Weinstein was my Whiting advocate. She was murdered on July 3rd, 2025. I was in Whiting from March 24th through August 20th. And they're after Andrew, folks. He can't walk in a courtroom without 10 people following him. They want him so badly. And they stole his $4 million home. And he had no mortgage through fictitious documents. And when is his court date? Oh, probably never. He is also a victim of false arrest. There are many. If you read the documents, you'll see the documents that the court has never processed. Administrative document. Oh. He signed that one, Ed O'Gara. Maybe that's the only one he signed? Administrative document. The court. Yeah, see, this is normally what he does. I send in a motion. I hand in a motion. He checks a box. The court can't accept these documents because they're not signed by the plaintiff. They're all signed by the plaintiff, folks. Signed on page 1. It's signed multiple times. And he signs it administrative clerk. He's a lawyer. He has to put his juris number on here. That's the law. Lawyers need to use their juris number. He doesn't sign it. Administrative clerk. That's not going to work. This is a violation of the Administrative Procedures Act on Judge Bizzuto, who is defendant number 1. But what's important is that the newest administrative clerk, Chief Justice, is Alexander. Now, she's also served. She was served twice. She was served on January 27th. She was served on January 27th. And when I left her office, Congressman Larson threatened to shoot me. Congressman John Larson threatened to shoot me leaving her office. I was leaving her office, and Congressman Larson threatened to shoot me on video. On video. Thanks for listening.